Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to Fragrance Friday. I'm very bad about keeping this up, but every now and then I think, oh, Friday is coming up, or oh, it's Friday. Maybe I can talk about perfume. And you know that I've been on the sort of half-hearted search for a new fragrance. I don't know why really, because I do still have plenty of unused or half-used bottles. And by this stage in my life, I do have quite a few definite favourites, which I repurchase and wear again and again, and then some that are not quite in that category of absolute favourites, but I definitely come back to. And that includes a summer fragrance for me, which is Creed Virgin Island Water that I've spoken about before, which I thought had been discontinued because it kind of ran out, or you couldn't find it on any of the websites, including the Creed website. And I thought, oh no, they've discontinued. But it looks as if it was just a supply chain issue because it's back again. And in fact, I bought a backup bottle only to find out that I already had a backup bottle. So should keep that quiet really, or I might be burgled. It's so expensive that to keep supplies of Creed perfume that you don't need is a waste of your money really, but there we go. Anyway, it's not Creed that I'm talking about today. I wanted to talk about Wilhelm Parfumerie. Don't be put off by the nice bottle that you see. Just get into focus there. Basilico and Fellini. I've talked about before. I got this last year after the Liberty bi-monthly beauty drop that I subscribed to sent a sample of it, and I really, really liked it. And actually it's, again, very much a summer fragrance, so I really don't need another summer fragrance, it's fair to say. I really liked the sample. I went out I didn't go out, I ordered the full bottle. I hadn't heard of this line before, so it was very much the beauty drop was successful for Liberty and for this house in recruiting me. It's a New York-based firm, although they seem to manufacture all their fragrances in France, that's what they say. And it looks as if all the noses are French or Swiss. I'm trying to find out what I can. The kind of ethos of the house is vintage and nostalgia. Nostalgia in the sense that fragrances remind us of certain times or people in our lives. And so a lot of the early fragrances, and this is one of their early fragrances, Basilico and Fellini, is referencing the founder's grandfather, who was very fond of basil and very fond of the films of Federico Fellini. And there's another fragrance, which I haven't actually smelled yet, which I think was their first one, which is called Dear Polly, which is obviously about a person as well. Anyway, what I'm talking about today is Moon Carnival, which is another of their fragrances, a newer one, I think. And again, I'm only talking about it because I got a sample in the Liberty beauty drop. I have to say this probably, well, it isn't as successful as the Basilico and Fellini, and I'll put you out of your suspense. I won't be buying it, but some of you might be interested in trying it. If, in particular, you like tuberose or white floral fragrances in particular, but this, I would say, is a very palatable tuberose fragrance. Tuberose is not a huge favourite of mine. Rose generally isn't. And I often think that tuberose is very, very overdone in fragrances. I find it very forceful harsh scent for me personally, but I know some people love it, and it's a very kind of summer orientated smell. So this fragrance was launched in 2018, according to the website. And I was initially very hopeful because the top notes are described as pink freesia, passion fruit, and bergamot. So we were getting that kind of fruity white floral, which I tend to like, where the floral is tempered by citrus in particular, and vice versa. Then the middle notes are tuberose, gardenia, another fragrance I struggle with, fragrance note, and orchid. And then the base notes are vanilla, marshmallow, interesting, and tonka bean. So I thought that was a really kind of interesting mixture of notes. And I was quite excited to try it. Now, I have to say, and I've read some crits of this. First of all, I don't get the top notes at all. I mean, you're supposed to get those when you first spray the fragrance onto the skin. The minute it goes on, it's tuberose gardenia. A lot of the crits say that you get freesia as well. I'd say that you do get a bit of freesia when it dries down, even though that's the top note. And when it dries down, after about 15 minutes or so, it's a gentler white flower fragrance. To me, I'm smelling it, still definitely tuberose dominated, but not as aggressively as some fragrances. For example, the Tom Ford Soleil fragrances have a lot of tuberose in, and I'm not so keen. So it's not for me, but I can see if you like those notes, and specifically those powerful white florals, you might very much like this. It has a reasonable kind of silage, so you can smell it away from the skin. You don't have to put your nose right up to your arm or wherever you sprayed it to smell it, but not overpoweringly so you're not going to kind of knock people out with it. The last, I would say, is kind of medium. I would say kind of 3 hours maybe. Not a super duper last, but reasonable. Perhaps not brilliant for, this is quite an expensive range. So, yeah, not for me, but definitely those of you who like your white florals, particularly at this time of year, might like to try this, because I don't think it's kind of over the top and so distinctive that it's kind of, blasting people out. It's quite subtle and elegant, but just not for me. So I'm excited to try others. I definitely would try others from this fragrance house when I manage to get myself down to Liberties, or I'm hoping might get another sample in their beauty drop, because I'm certainly interested in those. So there we go. Hope you have a wonderful Friday. Let me know in the comments what fragrance you're wearing this Friday. And until next time, bye for now.